Introduction. Every year thousands of graduates look for jobs with degrees and diplomas that they do not deserve. On getting the jobs, employers realize that their employees are not competent enough to do the job efficiently. This is because most graduates cheated their way through the education system. Some of the employees who would be lucky will go back to school to gain the required knowledge to do their job. According to Sherry, 1991, many students wish they had someone to point them in the right direction when they were doing drugs and partying a lot without any studies. One of the major factors influencing the success of a person is his education system. Learning institutions are made of different teachers with different teaching methods. A teacher may decide to make a student look good by giving him or her good grades, not because the student deserves the grades but because the student is highly disciplined and does not cause any trouble. By doing so, the teacher is not helping the student's future, cause eventually he or she will be on his or her own and would not be able to reproduce what his or her certificates contain. Similarly, when a student causes trouble, the same instructor would threaten him or her with a flank, hoping to change their character, and should the student not change, they will fail them intentionally just to show them that they run the show in school. That is to show the trump card of failure. The whole debate brings us to the question: what causes students' failure and who is to blame? Failure of students. A student's future, whether he will succeed in life, mainly depends on his education system. If he had a good education system, then his probability of having a better life is high, and if the system was poor, the opposite is true. An education system comprises of the student and his environment, where his environment includes the school, his teachers, parents, and the whole family as a whole. Failure in a student's future can be influenced by many factors. For instance, a student could be well-mannered, obedient but not bright enough. During examinations and assessments, the teacher decides to pass him even though he does not deserve the pass. The teacher does this just to save him the embarrassment of being called a flank. The scholar goes through the system, passing all levels, and eventually graduates. Due to his good grades, he is employed in his field of study. Employers expect much from them, but in the long run they end up disappointed. This is because the students were cheated by their education systems. Sooner or later, they are fired from their place of work, reason being they could not perform according to their standards. In this case, their teachers are to blame for their failure. This is because they chose to spare their scholars the short-term embarrassment and thus causing them a lifetime embarrassment. It would have been better if the intellectual was given whatever grade he or she deserved. In that way they would know how good they were and probably look for a way of improving their grades, or even better, look for something they are good in. Parents too have influence on their children's future. They tend to be overconfident in their children's performance. For example, a parent who is a doctor and would wish his or her to be doctor will influence their children, making them believe they could be doctors when actually they can't. They will dictate how their children should perform to drive their point of making their children believe they can be doctors. If evaluated from a different perspective, they are right in believing in their sons and daughters, but what they forget is that whatever dreams they are fighting for are theirs and not their children's. Finally, an intellectual ends up doing what he cannot, hence, they are not able to realize their dreams. In so doing, the parents contribute a great deal in ruining their children's future. If they can let children find what they can do best and help them achieve their dreams, they would have done their children better than making them pass hoping to make them what to be brighter in future. Parents and teachers become selfish when they make themselves look good by intentionally passing their students just to build a good name for themselves, but instead they are destroying their children's future. They should let them endure the embarrassment then and enjoy later on. Conclusion. Generally, a child's success entirely depends on his environment. His teachers and parents have a great influence in determining their future. They can either build it or destroy it. If they both can realize a student's potential, they can easily help him or her out instead of lying to them that they are better than what they are. A scholar's attitude has great influence in determining his future. If he or she too can realize their potential, they can influence their life through the education system by demanding what they deserve and not accepting what is given to them on a silver platter. It can be concluded that all parties, parents, teachers, and students themselves, are responsible for a child's future and should all take the blame in case of a failure. This and many other essays are available at studycorgi.com.